my lovelies, my name is Georgie or Hexa Xx and welcome to my first ever proper YouTube video. There are some videos on this channel already, but they're not great. Really not great. As you can see from the fact that I am just sat on my bed right now in my pyjamas, I am not intending to be a professional YouTuber. This is being filmed on my phone, leaning against a coffee cup on a stack of various different books, including the Icelandic sagas, textbooks for Old Norse, Neil Gaiman, Stephen King, and a bit of Bronte, so we should be good to go. Hopefully you don't fall down during this video. Yeah, I have no intention of being a professional YouTuber. This is just a project I'm doing for myself. It's in my New Year's resolutions, so I thought the end of January and my January reads would be a good place to start. The extent of my video making before this is pretty much nothing. I do time lapses on my Instagram, which is Hexa Studies, and is a studygram, so it's time lapses of me making my notes. And that's more or less the content I'm going to be doing here. It's going to be studying based and books based, since I am in my second year of studying literature at the University of York. And you can find all that on Hexa Studies. I will also be talking about mental health, which is something I do quite a lot on my written blog at hexaxx.com, so just plug in all my things before then. What I do at the moment to review my books is I do a short quick review on Goodreads, all spoiler free, and then I do another spoiler free review on my written blog at the end of every month, titled either January reads or December reads, depending on what month it has been, and I tend to go into more detail but still keep it spoiler free. So I thought, if I'm going to be a studying book YouTuber, reviews were the way to go, and here I can be a bit more open and a bit more emotional about my books that I've been reading. So let's jump right into it. The first book that I read in January I haven't got with me, it's at home and I'm currently at university, and that was To Be Read at Dawn by Charles Dickens, and is one of the Penguin Little Black Classics, or Little Black Books, I think they're called, which are a great way to get yourself out for reading something, which I needed to do because I didn't finish a single book in December, because they're very tiny little books. This one happened to be a collection of 3 Dickens ghost stories. The first 2, which was in To Be Read at Dawn and The Signal Man, I thought were very good, and The Trial for Murder fell a little bit short for me, but they hit the spot. They did exactly what I needed them to do, which was give me a quick short ghost story and get me out of my reading slump. The second book that I finished in January was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Now this book was really good. It was a book that I wasn't going to pick up for a while. I had it on my shelf ready to go, but I wasn't planning on picking it up until the Penguin Teen Instagram account were doing a reading challenge, which was back in November, so I started this a long time ago, and they asked me to join in, so I thought I'll pick one book to join in with their reading challenge. So this was the book I chose because it's a fantasy book, and yeah, I really like this book. I've given it 5 stars on Goodreads, although I would probably give it 4.5, but I didn't want, because Goodreads doesn't do a half-star system. I decided that I didn't want to reduce it down to a 4, so I bumped it up to a 5. The first half of this book, I thought it was going to be actually quite childish. I didn't think it was going to be brutal enough, so I do quite like my serious, like very gory, very hard-hitting quiet books when it comes to fantasy, like Sarah J. Maas, who we've got here. But it did get brutal, especially in the second half when the big plot point happened. The plot points were good. The love plot was unconventional, which was really nice. It's nothing like any love plot I've ever read before, so that was really good marks on that point. Some of the plot twists I could see coming, some of them I didn't, which was really nice. It was very political, very much more about a way the court works and building up a world, which I like. I like to have a detailed world who's doing it. There consists little things that bugged me out, that made it lose that half star for me, even though I was getting really into it this month, was the fact that the consistency about the Fae world being nocturnal, I didn't always translate for me. The fact that they're awake at night and asleep during the day, I felt like that needed a bit more description to make it really set it in stone. And the modern mortal world being involved as well, which I'm not sure how I feel about, because in my stories in my head I put the modern mortal world in it, but because it's American and it involved a mall, which is something we don't have in the UK, it felt a bit alien to me. It felt, in my idea of the modern world, felt out of place, so that niggled at me. And also the fact that Jude and Tan were older, which is great, but for some reason in my head I had that they were about 12. I couldn't get that image of them being 12 in my head, so when this unconventional love part was happening and the whole brutality of the court started to come into place, I was like, but they're 12, but they're not. They are older, I think about 17. So, really good book. And those were the 2 books I finished in January. Although I only finished 2, I felt like I did have a good month for reading, because this little babby has been taking up all of my time. It's Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is probably going to come out written backwards on the screen, but my god, this book is good. I am 40 pages away from finishing it right now. I did, on the 31st of January, think that I was only 100 pages away when I was down pack 200, so I was like, I'm going to binge read it and finish it before midnight, but I had too much to go. But oh god, I had to mention it even though I haven't finished it, because it has taken up most of my January reading and I love it so much. So because I'm reading this series and the world building, because this is 4th or 3rd, depending on whether you count the Assassin's Blade in Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass series, the books are starting to get quite chunky. So this one was 560 and I think this one is 650, which is Queen of Shadows, my next book to read, and I know the finale book, Kingdom of Ash, is going to be 980 pages, so I've got all the books ready to go, but this will be finished today, so it's going to be a February read, but I had to mention it because it is taking up most of my January reading time, and it is the reason why I've been loving reading again when I had such a slump in December and had to read the Little Black Classics, the Charles Dickens To Be Read at Dawn, to get me out of it. So they were my January reads. I'm not sure what my posting schedule will be. That's why I've decided to just be upfront and be in my pyjamas, because this is how I look most of the time, with spots and messy hair. So that is why I've dressed like that today, just to be completely honest with you. I think I will at least do a January reads or monthly reads video for every month, so it's at least once a month. I do have video ideas set up in my bullet journal, which I would show you, but my bullet journal is over there. I don't want this to be too much of a commitment because I already have my blog and my Instagram and also a Facebook page, which is Hexa Xx. Everything is pretty much Hexa Xx apart from my StudyGram Hexa Studies, because I needed Hexa Xx on my personal account. So because the blog and my StudyGram is my biggest commitment, I don't know when I'll be posting here. Let's see if this video ever sees daylight. So thank you for watching.